Hello, everyone. Revolver Guy, Parenting for Poor People. Been working on the garden a little bit today. We had a pretty good little frost this morning, but thankfully all my plants are okay. That's one of the dangers of planting before the middle part of May in the mountains of North Carolina. You never know what's going to happen. You don't know how late you'll get a frost. Uh, our weather patterns here are kind of akin to maybe northern New York or New England more than they are in the South because of the elevation. So it's just a little something you have to deal with. But everything looks good. I planted some green peppers and some jalapenos today, plants that I got. So we'll take a look at them here pretty soon, see how they're doing. And I got some more mulch laid down. I'm about halfway done with mulching the garden now. Uh, it's a lot of work, but I tell you, this old rotted mulch is really going to do good for that soil. So anyway, today I was just going to talk about a couple of things here. There's just so much going on in the world. I hope that you're preparing every day. I really strongly encourage you to grow a garden. Do something to grow some food. Just even if it's on part of your lawn, go out there and get that grass up and plant some vegetables. Because you just never know what's going to happen. I tell you, this world is gone crazy. Here we are as a country. Economically, we're just right on the brink of falling. Uh, it wouldn't take a whole lot to collapse us, and at the same time, we're on the brink of war with Iran, backed by China and Russia and North Korea, and then we have that whole mess down in Venezuela. We're really, really close to a World War III. If we get out of this somehow without going to war, I tell you, Trump really deserves some recognition for that because I just don't see it happening. Uh, but then again, I think part of it is that the Trump administration wants there to be war because that's really probably our only chance of surviving this whole mess. Uh, it's not much of a chance, I'll tell you that. It's it'd be tough to fight all them countries at once. And while we have technology, uh, I'm afraid the United States just doesn't have the spirit anymore. Uh, you know, it, Unfortunately, there's a lot of people running around, and all they're worried about is if their cell phone's working and if they can get on their social media. And they're worried about the pleasures of this world, and they're not thinking about anything else. And if something does go wrong, they just want to look for somebody to blame. So it's just one of them things. This is what was prophesized to happen, and you can see it happening right in front of your eyes if you just open them up and look a little bit. Uh, the country is more divided now than it ever could have been, or I ever could imagine it being. You cannot have a civil conversation with somebody on the other side anymore. And both sides are guilty of it, but the left has really just gone out there so far now that there's just not much you can do to have any kind of middle of the road conversation with them. They don't want to hear it. They're going to argue with you to the end. They're going to curse at you and call you the devil. And here they are living like hell, but yet you're the devil. It's just. But and that's just another thing. It was in the Bible. It's in the end times. People will call good bad and bad good. They'll call something sweet bitter and something that's bitter sweet. So that's what's happening now. You can see it all over the United States. I don't care what you think about politics, and uh, I'm not getting into politics anymore. As far as the arguing and fussing and fighting about it, there's no use in it. I don't think there's any chance that we're ever going to be able to come together again, unfortunately. So what that means is that the like-minded people that are trying to do things right and want to do the right thing, we need to stick together because we're going to need each other. You know, when this is all said and done, there's just so many things out there that's happening on a daily basis. The leaders of China, they're they basically called for a people's war. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to attack us, but they're they're trying to get their people ramped up and ready to go. And if something happens, they'll have the full support of well over 1 billion people, and that'll be something. That'll be something for us to fight. I tell you, China. China has some technology that's just amazing. They're way behind us in a lot of ways, but they have some very interesting technology that I learned about. They have a satellite that is in space that can go up to another satellite and pluck it out of space. Just grab it. You know, this I looked. I've never heard of the United States having this kind of technology. If that's true, we're in a bad way, folks, because everything we do depends on them satellites up there, and our communications are just about our entire infrastructure now, especially as it pertains to the military. You're talking about most of our guidance systems for our missiles and the real meat, the real power of our militaries and Navy. Most of that's all satellite controlled. So you know it. Also, our early warning systems. So that's kind of a. I don't see China doing that unless they are ready to go to war, because they know that if they did that, we would attack them, of course. But boy, I tell you, that'd be a hard thing to deal with if we don't have that technology edge. Because we certainly don't have the people edge, and we certainly don't have the grit as a country anymore to stand up and do something. You know, people are in this country. They've decided that they don't want to take responsibility for their actions anymore. They kind of want anything goes society, and yet they want to usher in socialism and have the government take care of them. And it's so idiotic when you sit and think about it. You know, socialism is just a slow move to communism. And real communism would not tolerate the immorality that these people live on a daily basis. You know, you go to Russia, they don't tolerate homosexuality. They don't tolerate religion. They don't tolerate anything other than you being a subject of the government. So, you know, when you look at that, it's just ironic that these people, it just shows you how foolish they are. You know, they want to live their life and basically just sin all they can, but they want the government to control it. And, you know, it's the same thing with police shootings. Every time you have a question with police shooting, you'll hear the left will be up in arms, and they want the police to be held accountable, which they should be if they're wrong. But then a week later, they're out there calling for bans on guns and saying, "Oh, the police should have guns." I mean, if I was worried about the police killing me, I certainly wouldn't want them to be the only ones that have guns. It just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. I just think it's foolishness. You know, it's people are blinded. You know, they won't stop and look around and see what's really going on. And you know, our government just about has to have this war in order to try to survive. It's not the people's fault. It's the government's fault. That's been going on for years. they have pretty much set this country up for failure. And they just don't care. They never have really cared about the people. And we're going to be the ones left holding the bag, unfortunately, so when all this goes down. So like I said, I really encourage you to prepare, do something every day, really think about some food and water. Make sure you've got that taken care of just as quickly as you possibly can. Try to put back as much food as you can. Try to be as self-sustainable as you can. You know, whether it be growing vegetables and or just having a few chickens and some other things. I have one person that messages me quite often and asks about chickens. Asks questions all the time. That's great. I mean, that's you know, I don't know everything, but if there's something I do know, I will certainly help you. And I'm glad that I've been able to help her and give her some advice. And she's really doing everything she can to try to get ready. And that's wonderful. You know, no, I can't tell you when it's going to happen. It may not even happen in my lifetime. But I certainly will be ready if it does. And at least maybe I've instilled that in my children so they'll be ready, because it's going to happen. This old world is going to come to an end one day. As sure as we're all sitting here and watching our videos on YouTube or posting things on Facebook. So, anyway, thank you for watching. If you would, click like and subscribe. For all you that have subscribed and watched my videos and commented, I thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I love seeing the comments. I don't always agree with them. But, you know, that's one thing that's great about this country, is we're all entitled to our own opinion. And remember, all gun laws are unconstitutional.